Hare Krishna everyone, hope you had a lovely day. Welcome to Soma Vedic Astrology channel. Today we will discuss about the 12th house of a birth chart in Vedic astrology. The 12th house is the house of spirituality. While it is also the house of losses, passing away, disappearance, decaying, ruins, losses, etc. And that is the reason it is called as the Vyaaya Bhava. Now, if you ask me whether 12th house is all negative, then I will say that 12th house can be negative in the sense of materialism, but this is the best house for spiritual growth. Okay, now let us see what all things can we see from the 12th house. So, as I mentioned, the first thing that we can see is spirituality, moksha, enlightenment, detachment. Since 12th house is the natural house of Pisces zodiac sign, and Pisces is the most spiritual zodiac sign, and that is the reason 12th house also is the house of spirituality. Since it shows spirituality, the second thing which we can also see is the charitable work, the humanitarian work that a native does. Okay, charitable donations, expenses on the holy pilgrimages, okay, charity to a holy place, NGOs, the organizations which is involved in charities. Third thing that we can see is the investment of the salary of a native. Since 11th house shows your salary, income, profits, okay, so second from the 11th, 12th house is second from the 11th house, and that is why it shows how you are going to invest your salary, whether your investment will give you good returns or not. Okay, the fourth point that we can see from the 12th house is the losses and the expenses. Now, expenses or losses can be of any form. Okay, maybe a loss in your job, loss in your business, loss of any of your body parts due to some form of accident. Okay, loss of your freedom and independence, meaning getting imprisonment. Okay, maybe physical imprisonment or mental imprisonment, loss of your life, loss of your material, materialism, maybe in the form of money, house, etc. Well, this also can show loss of your enemies, loss of your debts, loss of your diseases. Okay, so loss can be of any form. Okay, the loss should not be seen in a negative sense, as losses can also be on a good account as well, such as loss of your enemies, loss of your diseases. Correct. So, even if there is a material loss, it can lead a path to the gain in the form of spirituality. Now, the fifth point that we can see from the 12th house is isolation. Okay, any form of isolated places, whether a native likes to live in isolation or not, what kind of activities one does in isolation, maybe doing some form of a research, or pursuing any hobby. Now, this isolation can have two forms. It can be positive, like if you see in the sannyasis or the yogis who also live in kind of isolation, but they do meditation. So this is kind of a positive aspect of the isolation. The negative aspect can be suffering some from mental illness or depression, which due to which you like to live in an isolated way. Okay, so it can be either, it can show either sorrow or isolation for peace. The sixth thing that we can see is silent sufferings. Okay, so in terms of sorrows, it can show silent suffering, self destruction, tendencies, addictions, etc. The seventh thing that we can see is the jail term, jails and imprisonments. Now, it is not necessary that everybody is going to experience this. It all depends. We are just currently saying what all things can be seen, but whether one actually goes through it or not is an entire other ball game. Now, here, imprisonment can be, physical, actual imprisonment in a jail, or it can also be a psychological imprisonment. The eighth point shows mental asylums, mental weaknesses. Okay, if the house is afflicted, definitely it shows some form of mental distress. The ninth thing that we can see from the 12th house is hospitals and accidents. Okay, so hospitalization, expenses on the hospitalization, this can be seen from the 12th house. Now the 10th thing that we can see is foreign lands, foreign companies. 12th house needs to be seen for any foreign matter. It can be, related to your immigration process, visa, foreign residency, citizenship, or any business related to the imports and exports. So all these foreign related things needs to be seen from the 12th house. Now why, if you should ask that why 12th house is associated with foreign things, because 12th house is, the house of loss. So why foreign travel or foreign residence is associated with the 12th house? Because you are essentially losing your own identity which you had till now, and then you are moving to an entire foreign place, adapting to the culture of foreign country, different language, different people, different food, different culture. So essentially you're losing your own identity, and then there is a new identity being created where you are adjusting to the foreign circumstances. Okay, so that is why foreign elements are related to the 12th house. Now what is the meaning of foreign here? Foreign doesn't only mean that, you go abroad, on an international level. It can also mean on a national level. For example, moving from South India to North India. So any place where there is an entire shift in your upbringing, like in, the culture from which you're born, and to the culture where you're going. If there is a language change, people change, culture change, food is changed. So this is the definition of a foreign journey, okay, or a foreign place. The 11th thing that we can see is the long travels. Okay, so a 12th house is ninth from the fourth house. Fourth house is your home, okay, and ninth house is the house of long journeys, travel. Okay, so basically from your home you are going and doing a very long travel and going to a foreign place. So that is the reason 12th house can also indicate some long foreign travels. Now the 12th thing that we can see is the pet pleasures. Okay, so 12th house is also the house which belongs to the sexual enjoyment and morality with regards to the sexual matters. So 12th house is also important to see in case of the multiple relations. Now since bed is a significant part of the 12th house, we can also see sleep, dreams, your subconscious mind from the 12th house as well. Okay, so any problems related to your sleep, such as insomnia, less sleep, not getting sound sleep, all these also can be seen from the 12th house. Okay, then because 12th house is showing your subconscious mind, it is showing the dreams. So subconscious mind, if it is very nicely activated, that is a very good thing in terms of getting artistic talents in the form of creativity, maybe in films, dance, poetry, writing, some fictional writers. So all these people have a good 12th house. Okay, uh, because creativity is needed to imagine things, and then materialize this it in the physical form. Okay, now the 14th thing that we can see from the 12th house is a very huge fall of a certain form. Okay, it is the house of falls. Now this fall also can be in terms of a physical fall, maybe you're falling from some huge height, from tall buildings, etc. It can be a social fall, maybe a fall in your name and fame, your respect, your behavior. It can be a professional fall, maybe getting what do you say, demoted, or fall in your business, fall in your morality. It can show any form of fall. Okay. 12th house also shows stepfather. The next thing that we can see from the 12th house is wild animals. 6th house shows pet animals, and 12th house being opposite to the 6th house, it shows the wild animals. Okay, the animals which lives in maybe the jungles or the zoos. Okay. Now, the next thing that we can see is feet. 12th house shows the feet of a human body. Okay, so any hobbies which involves feet, such as dancing, can also be seen from the 12th house. Okay, the next thing that we see from the 12th house is secret enemies. 6th house is the house of your public enemies. Okay, 12th house being opposite to the 6th house can show indications of secret enemies, some secret a plot which is going on. Okay. Now, the 12th house also shows a place which has very deepest water. Okay, because it is the house of Pisces zodiac sign. Okay, hence it shows some form of deepest waters. The next thing that we see is anything which is hidden, maybe your hidden fears, your hidden desires. So all these things can also be seen from the 12th house. Now let us see the people associated with the 12th house. Okay, so those are your Jyotisha, astrologers, pandits, monks, sages, people who work in ashrams, people who work in isolated places, your philosophers, yoga teachers, dancers, criminals, patients, foreigners, your paternal grandmother, your maternal grandfather, spouse of maternal uncles and aunts. Now let us see the careers related to the 12th house. So the first thing can be any work related to spirituality. Okay, so it can be pandits, pujaris, healers, yogis, Jyotish, astrologers, working in ashram, philosophy. So all the spirituality related work. Then it can be charity related work, like charitable work in the charitable organizations, NGOs, etc. Then the third thing can be healing or retreat related works, like working in a meditation center, working as a yoga teacher, etc. Then there can be also career related to foreign companies or foreign products, foreign services. So even this can be seen from the 12th house. The other form of career can also be related to feet, because 12th house represents your feet. So dancers can also be seen who uses a lot of feet. There is a lot of usage of feet while dancing. Then the next segment is of the career which you can see is which is related to your subconscious mind and creativity. So films, fantasy writers, fictional writers, creation of films, where a strong intuition and imagination is needed. So all these forms of career is also associated with the 12th house. Then the next form of career can be people who work at isolated places, so prison workers, mental hospital workers, research people who go and work in some isolated labs. All these things can also be seen from the 12th house. Now let us see the type of places seen from the 12th house. So the type of places are NGOs, charity organizations, meditation centers, retreat centers, ashrams, hermitage, asylums, places of refuge, maybe for the refugees, distant worlds, foreign countries, concentration camps, places of worship, holy places, any form of restricted areas such as airports, hospitals, jails, and any form of private room or isolated room can also be seen from the 12th house. And another thing can be any place which has very deepest water can also be seen from the 12th house. Now let us see which body parts are associated with the 12th house. So those are your left eye, your feet, lymphatic system, and teeth. So affliction to 12th house, can cause crippled limbs, issues related to your sleep, wounds from the accidents, etc. Now let us see the relation of 12th house with the other houses. 12th house is 11th from the second house. Second house is the house of family. 11th house is the house of desires and wish fulfillment. So 11th from second shows the spending on the desires of your family, the spending of your accumulated wealth for fulfilling the desires of your family and your desires. 11th from second also shows gain in your own wealth. But what form of gain? Because we are essentially saying 12th house, which shows losses, it means by decreasing your expenses, how you're gaining wealth. So essentially, it means savings. Okay, gain in the wealth in the form of savings by basically doing less expenses. Now, 12th house is 10th from the third house. 10th house is the house of career. Third house is the house of siblings. So, 10th from the third shows career of your younger siblings. 12th house is ninth from the fourth house. Fourth house is house of mother. Ninth house is the house of fortune, the house of religious beliefs. So ninth from fourth shows the religious beliefs of your mother, the luck and the fortune of your mother. 12th house is 8th from the 5th house. 8th house is house of transformations. 5th house is the house of kids. So 8th from the 5th shows some form of transformative event or a death-like situation in the house of your children. Maybe some form of therapy, surgery of your first children. 8th house is also the house of joint assets. Okay, so 8th from 5th shows the joint assets of your children, especially your first child. 12th house is 7th from the 6th house. 7th house is the house of partnerships, house of spouse. 6th house is the house of obstacles, enemies, diseases, etc. So 7th from 6th shows the obstacles in one's life to maintain the partnership, competition and partnership. It shows loss of the debts, loss of your enemies, loss of your diseases. Okay, which means that you're overcoming the disease, your repayment of debts is completed, you are getting victory over your enemies. Okay, so all these things can be seen. Now 12th house is 6th from the 7th house. 6th house is the house of obstacles and enemies. 7th house is the house of partnerships and spouse. So 6th from 7th shows the daily life routine, the habits of your spouse. It shows the conflicts which arise in your spouse's life, the illness of your first spouse, the debts which your first spouse is taking. Okay, 12th house is 5th from the 8th house. 8th house is the house of joint assets. 5th house is the house of Purva Punya, past life blessings. So 5th from the 8th shows whether past life blessings are supporting you to gain the joint assets in this lifetime or not. Okay, 12th house is 4th from the ninth house. Ninth house is the house of long travels, long foreign travels, and 4th house is your home. So 4th from ninth shows changing of homes after doing a foreign travel. Okay, so what does that means? It shows your foreign residence. Okay, 12th house is third from the 10th house. Third house is a house of self efforts and courage. 10th house is the house of career. So, third from 10th shows the amount of efforts one need to put in his or her career to achieve the required success and fame. 12th house is second from the 11th house. Second house is the house of accumulated wealth. 11th house is the house of gains and wish fulfillment. So second from 11th shows gains from your investment. How many of your wishes are you fulfilling from your wealth, the money that you earn by investing the money, of the money basically which you're getting from the salary and business income, you're investing that, and how much gain you're getting from the investment. So this is seen from the 12th house. Now let us see some terminologies which is associated with the 12th house. The first terminology is Apoklima house. House number 3, 6, 9 and 12 are called as Apoklima house. Apoklima means the house on slope, which is associated with a decline or expense of some form. Okay, these houses gives you some challenges, okay, or a decline in from your current status. Maybe you can consider it materially. Okay, it causes some decline, since 12th house is also the house of expenses, so essentially it is showing a monetary decline. Okay, so hence 12th house is also termed as the is also one of the Apoklima house. The next terminology attached is the Dushthana house. House number 6, 8 and 12 are the Dushthana house. Dushthana means things which can cause sorrow, suffering, sadness in a person's life. Since 12th house deals with some negative elements such as losses and expenses materially, then imprisonment, you're thrown in some form of isolation in the imprisonment, hospitalization. So all these are the negative elements associated with the 12th house, and hence it is the Dushtana house. The next terminology associated with the 12th house is the Moksha Trikon. Okay, house number 4, 8 and 12 are the Moksha Trikon. These are the houses which leads us to the path of liberation and enlightenment. Moksha Trikon and the Kalpurush Kundli is usually associated with the water signs. Okay, 4 being Cancer, 8 being Scorpio and 12 being the Pisces zodiac sign. Okay, so the fourth basically shows the environment at the later part of your life, which can trigger you to move towards a spiritual journey. Eighth shows some form of a transformative event, regeneration, death and rebirth kind of a situation, which is inspiring you to become more spiritual and move towards the path of liberation. And 12th house gives events in your life which can cause some form of suffering, self undoing. Okay, again, this kind of events can also trigger or rather inspire you to be more spiritual than before. I hope you guys must have liked the video. Please do not forget to subscribe the channel. Also, please do let me know in the comment section below what more videos would you like to see. Thank you.